Welcome to the Nevis Newscast for Thursday, August 1st, 2019. I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. Survivors and their relatives, as well as the relatives of those who died in the August 1st, 1970 MV Christina disaster, gathered this morning for a service commemorating the 49th anniversary of that tragedy.
What should have been a routine Saturday afternoon travel to Nevis would soon be recorded as the largest and most significant maritime disaster in our nation's young history. The 155-passenger ferry had just over twice as many passengers it would normally carry. Minutes into the journey, and just a half-mile off Nag's Head, and peering into the channel, a beautiful Saturday afternoon would be eclipsed by frantic screams, panic, and horror. August 1st, 1970, affected thousands of lives, changed the trajectory of family lives of hundreds, and improved by somewhat how we operate between the islands of St. Kitts and Nevis via boats. Such maritime laws and operating procedures has kept us safe for more than 4 decades. While we remember those who lost their lives on that day, we cherish those that are still with us and those who survived that ordeal.
Rohan Isles chaired this morning's service. Their service also received prayers by Reverend Dr. Sandra Fleming and Pastor Theophilus Kelly, a scripture reading by Thelma Mills, the reading of the names of the deceased and the survivors, a moment of silence in honor of the deceased, and the laying of wreaths at the cemetery dedicated to their memory.
I trust today that the memory of those persons with whom you were acquainted would bring to you a measure of joy as you remember the good things that they had done, the love they shared with you, the joy they brought into your lives. And please, don't allow this kind of tragedy to happen again.
Pastor Arthur Freeman delivered the sermonette. The service also included the recognition of Malcolm Simmons, Franklin Brown, Oswald Tyson, and Ivor Brooks, 4 of the 91 persons who survived the sinking of the MV Christina.
I am 49 years old today. 49. Because Christina, had I went down on Christina, that would have been it. So, 49 years. Actually, I'm not 49, I'm 68 years old. However, it's some feelings, goosebumps and so on coming on me here. I'm pleased to see so many of us here from abroad, from Nevis.
My name is Romeo Paris, the 5th son, the 5th child of Anna Paris from Coddock Road. She died, left 8 of us. And so this is my first time coming for this memorial. I usually come after with my grandchildren to avoid the emotions. You know, over the years I've always tried to bury it. It's very painful. But now the older I become, the more I miss her, the more I wish that she was a part of my life. 6 years, is a young age. All I remember was running down to the beach and screaming because me and the older brother Calvin actually were supposed to have traveled. I always felt this bond that there was a closeness with me and her. So as a child you try to wipe that memory and think of good times. Yeah.
The Christina Memorial on the Samuel Hunkins Drive, adjacent to the Hamilton Museum, features a list of 233 names of persons who perished in the disaster. The Department of Agriculture will host its annual food festival on Friday, August 2nd at the DR Walwyn Plaza. Deputy Director Floyd Liebert spoke to us about the prizes for the ice cream making and cake making competitions.
So we are here once again to give you a little preview of those prices and hope that we can encourage other persons who have not yet made up their mind to get involved. As you can see to the back of me here, there are lovely prices. We have some cake mixers, We also have some trophies, some flour, compliments of ECGC, some cake mixers from Housing and Land Corporation would have sponsored too, and Mr. George Martin, or Danford Martin rather, would have sponsored a cake mixer for us, and I myself sponsor an ice cream maker.
Liebert noted that persons can still sign up for the competitions. Chief Executive Officer at the Department of Agriculture is Steve Reed, who notes that Extension officers will also be on hand to give advice to farmers and potential farmers.
We will have our Extension officers on site to give you advice as to what fruit tree is best to plant in your yard, whether close to your cistern, your septic, the best one, and how to treat it for pests, for disease, any questions that you may have. For example, one question which is normally asked, I have planted a fruit tree for the past 2 to 3 years and it wouldn't grow. There are a number of reasons. Bring your questions and we will be on hand to answer them for you.
The Food Festival, which is a part of the Culturama 45 calendar of activities, will begin at 9 a.m. and conclude at 6 p.m. The Junior Cultural Street Parade will also take place tomorrow, Friday, August 2nd, through the streets of Charlestown.
We have a total of about 15 different troops coming to Charlestown tomorrow afternoon, and it's going to be an exciting afternoon here in Charlestown. The theme for this parade is a synergy of excitement, and you'll definitely see a synergy of excitement. The Agriculture Fruit Festival will be going on, and so persons will be already on the street. And so we will be coming through, and so the route will be coming down Main Street, you turn by the Sim Daniels bus, you then go down a bit on the waterfront, you make a right and come up by Scotiabank, loop back up Main Street, make another right by First Caribbean Bank or the Sim Daniels bus. We go down by what you call the shed, the iron shed by the pier, and then we walk through and then go on to the stage in front of Pass Bar.
Jerome Rollins, Chief Executive Officer of the Nevis Cultural Development Foundation, notes that more than 100 troop participants from St. Kitts will take part in the Junior Parade on Nevis. He spoke about the various troops which will be on the road and encouraged persons to attend and support the children.
We have 2 private troops coming out of Nevis, and their concentration is on fantasy. One of them is Badea, and the other one is the country set in folklore. So those troops will be judged. Those will be the only 2 troops that will be judged. And so we'll have 3 judging points for those 2 troops. The folklore from the schools will not be judged. Those are just there for the exhibition itself. And so just to recap, we're leaving the villa at 2 p.m. We're asking one and all in terms of the troops to come out and be ready at 1 p.m. because we're rolling at exactly 2 p.m. And so the idea is to get downtown when persons are coming off of work to get some of the excitement.
The Mansion Bowl from St. Kitts will also be a part of tomorrow's parade, which will begin at 2 p.m. at the Villa grounds. Still to come.
I think fishermen are finding alternative ways to supplement their income, and we welcome them.
The details after this break.
Under the theme, Think Climate Smart, Food and Nutrition Security and Sustainability, the Department of Agriculture is pleased to announce its annual Fruit Festival taking place on Friday, August 2nd, 2019 at the DR Walwyn Plaza in the heart of Charlestown from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Come and witness a fantastic array of fresh fruits and preserved fruits, fruit dishes and drinks showcasing our locally grown fruits. Feeling creative? Well, why not participate in the cake and ice cream competitions and walk away with attractive trophies and other prizes? Enter the cheese, plain and fruitcake categories. And remember, fruitcakes must contain locally grown fruits and the ice cream will be mango based. Lots to eat including lunch, and there will be a well-stocked bar. Great music will be provided, so circle the date now for the annual Department of Agriculture Fruit Festival. It's a part of C45, the Caribbean's greatest summer lime.
Welcome back. The Honorable Mark Brantley recently made a report on a number of developments in the area of marine resources. The announcements were made at the July 25th Premier's press conference.
The New England Castle fisher folk, they reaped a second crop of sea moss. They did that on the 21st of July. From their established plots at Indian Castle, the group plans to establish more plots in the not-too-distant future. Sea moss farming is now a new venture here in Nevis. Others are encouraged to get involved, and the Department of Marine Resources is there to provide technical assistance where needs be. So, Minister, Deputy Premier, thank you for that, and may they continue the good work in that regard.
Premier Brantley said he welcomed the fishermen's finding alternative ways to supplement their income.
Jessop's Barnsgate and Cotton Ground Fishing Association will be visiting the established and well-regulated marine park in St. Eustatius. Their purpose is to raise awareness of the need for marine conservation among fishers and other stakeholders. And so, again, we're seeking to expose all of our people, our professionals, to best practices, and that is why they're going there.
He also commended Lemuel Pemberton, Deputy Director of the Department of Marine Resources, for his efforts in the tracking of a sea turtle migration.
On July 20th to 21st, the Sea Turtle Conservancy, the Nevis Turtle Group, and the Four Seasons Resort and Department of Marine Resources collaborated in attaching satellite transmitters onto 2 hawksbill turtles. I'm told that the turtles were christened Spongy and Patches. That program started in 2006 and has been ongoing. If you want to track, but the beautiful thing about this is you can go online and track the turtles and see where they move, and I'm told they move thousands of miles sometimes. www.tourdturtles.org.
Premier of Nevis, the Honourable Mark Brantley. St. Kitts and Nevis took a significant and historic step forward on Monday, July 29th, when Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honourable Mark Brantley, signed an agreement with the State of Palestine's Foreign Minister and expatriates, His Excellency Dr. Riyad Malki, establishing diplomatic relations between both countries. During a brief ceremony, Minister Brantley welcomed His Excellency Dr. Malki to St. Kitts and Nevis, noting the importance of such an agreement. He said St. Kitts and Nevis appreciates the need to develop good relations with all nations and to seek to advance the interest of peace, security, and democracy globally. He said St. Kitts and Nevis wants to commit to a long and mutually beneficial relationship and hopes the two countries can work closely on matters such as climate change, global peace and security, respect for sovereignty, respect for the rule of law, and respect for democracy and democratic norms. Minister Brantley used the occasion to express thanks and appreciation to the government and people of the State of Palestine, adding that St. Kitts and Nevis certainly has a voice in the international community that in the past it has been willing to lend in support of Palestine and the Palestinian people. His Excellency Dr. Malki assured Minister Brantley that the State of Palestine will do its utmost best to ensure that peace, stability and security will prevail. He also expressed Palestine's readiness to share its knowledge and experience in several areas in which the country has excelled. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. Thank you for viewing.